Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our Relationship Coaching Group podcast. I'm Roxanne, your host, and I'm really glad you're here because today we're talking about something that honestly does not get enough attention in the dating world. Green flags people ignore. Because when people talk about relationships, we spend so much time discussing red flags, like what to avoid, what to run from, what behaviors should make you leave. And yes, those conversations matter. But sometimes people become so focused on danger that they completely miss healthy love when it shows up. And sometimes the very things that create stable, emotionally safe relationships can feel unfamiliar, boring, suspicious, or even uncomfortable, especially if someone is used to inconsistency, chaos, mixed signals, or emotionally unavailable people. So today, we're going to talk about the green flags many people overlook, dismiss, or misunderstand in modern dating and relationships. And I really want you to listen closely to this episode because some of these green flags may not feel exciting at first, but they are often the exact thing that create peace, trust, longevity, and emotional security over time. So whether you're single, dating, healing, or already in a relationship, this episode is for you. Now let's get into it. One of the biggest green flag people ignore is clear communication. And this might sound obvious, but a lot of people are actually more stimulated by confusion rather than clarity. Now that might not be you, but believe it or not, there are those who are comfortable around confusion rather than calm. Okay, let's get into some green flags as it pertains to clear communication. When someone communicates clearly, you know where they stand. They are consistent. They don't disappear for days. They don't play mind games, and they don't keep you guessing. But here's the problem. If someone is used to chasing emotionally unavailable people, clarity can actually feel too easy. Some people mistake emotional stability for a lack of chemistry. Their thinking is this feels boring. There's no chase. Maybe they like me too much. Something feels a little bit off. But actually, healthy communication is not boring. It's emotionally mature. A person who communicates clearly is showing emotional responsibility. They're showing consistency. They're showing honesty. And they have respect for your time and emotions. And that's important. That's a green flag. Not confusion, not mixed signals, and not hot and cold behavior. But here's a point, and I'm giving this for free. A relationship should not feel like decoding a secret message every day. And here's another green flag that people ignore, and that's consistency. You have a lot of people who are attracted to intense behavior, big emotions, constant texting, fast attachment, love bombing, and huge promises early on. Now, while intensity can feel exciting, consistency is what actually builds trust. And that's what you want. And this is what consistency looks like. Let's check this out. It's checking in regularly, showing up when they say they will, and following through. Also putting in the effort and energy to keep peace in the relationship or as it's growing. And also being emotionally steady or calm. Now, here's something else I'm going to throw at you, and this is also for free. Consistency is quiet. It doesn't always create fireworks, but over time, Consistency creates emotional safety, and emotional safety is one of the strongest foundation a relationship can have. Now, let me break down why emotional safety is so important to having a healthy relationship. Emotional safety creates a secure foundation for trust. It creates a genuine connection, allowing partners to be their authentic selves without fear of being judged, criticized, or rejected. But wait, there's more. Emotional safety enables open communication. It reduces anxiety, whereas partners can share their deepest thoughts, their fears, and their hopes, which is crucial for a healthy relationship. Now, here's a big one. Emotional safety makes for a healthy relationship because your partner listens to understand, not just to fix or criticize. Now, let's get back to consistency in a relationship. Some people ignore consistent partners because they're waiting for or expecting dramatic emotional highs. But healthy love usually feels more grounded than chaotic. Now, here's a note to self. If someone treats you well consistently, not just when it's convenient, and not just when they're afraid to lose you, you should pay attention to that. Because a major green flag is when someone respects your boundaries without making you feel guilty for having boundaries. Then this is huge. Let me say this again. A major green flag is when someone respects your boundaries without making you feel guilty for having boundaries. So listen to this. Healthy people understand. They understand when you are that you are allowed to say no. They understand that you're allowed to need space. They also understand that you're allowed to move slowly, and you're definitely allowed to protect your peace. But some people are so used to relationships built on pressure, guilt, or emotional manipulation that respectful behavior kind of feels a little weird to some. For example, if you say you're tired and you need rest, a healthy person will say, okay, you go ahead and get some rest. This is what they won't say. Wow, I thought I was going to see you tonight. Or, you're acting extra. Or they might say something like this, you didn't do anything to be tired. And honestly, the right person will not punish you for protecting yourself. And this one is important. A green flag people often ignore is emotional calmness. Okay, you're saying, what is emotional calmness? It's when some people mistake anxiety for chemistry. If someone constantly triggers uncertainty, like delayed replies, inconsistent affection, mixed messages, emotional distance, or unpredictability, your nervous system can become addicted, like an emotional roller coaster. So when a healthy person comes along and brings peace, your brain may interrupt that peace as like a lack of spark. And peace is not a bad sign. Being able to relax around someone is actually very powerful. A healthy relationship should not constantly activate fear, insecurity, or emotional panic. You shouldn't have to overanalyze every text, question your value daily, beg for reassurance, or wonder where you stand all the time. A calm nervous system is often a green flag. Now listen, not every relationship starts with emotional chaos and obsession. Sometimes healthy love feels safe before it feels exciting. And that's okay. One of the most overlooked green flag is accountability. Now, pay attention to how someone responds when they make mistakes, because Everybody makes mistakes, even me. But emotionally mature people apologize sincerely, and they listen without becoming defensive. They try to improve, and they take responsibility for their actions. Now, that matters because plenty relationships fail because one or both people refuse to take accountability. Instead, they blame, they deflect, they gaslight, they avoid conversations, or they turn everything into an argument. And you don't want that. Now, this green flag is important. Here's this green flag that people often ignore is emotional calmness. Some people mistake anxiety for chemistry. If someone constantly triggers uncertainty, like delayed replies or inconsistent affection or mixed messages or emotional distance or unpredictability, that's not good. That is not good. But healthy people will say, when they're taking accountability, they'll say, "You're right. I handled that badly. I understand why that hurt you," or "I'll work on it to do better." That level of emotional maturity is valuable. And honestly, accountability is attractive. It's not perfect, and it's not perfection either. And it's not ego, and it's not pretending to never be wrong. Real maturity is being willing to grow. Now, here's another green flag. Your partner wants to see you grow. They don't compete with you. They don't resent your progress. They don't belittle you, making you feel insecure. Instead, they encourage you to meet your goals. They celebrate your wins. They motivate you. And this matters because insecure people sometimes become uncomfortable when you begin to flourish, when they start seeing you becoming successful. A green flag is someone who can clap for you without making it about themselves. Someone who says, "I'm so proud of you," or "Go for it," or "You deserve that opportunity," or "I believe in you." That kind of support creates partnership instead of competition. And healthy relationships should feel like that. It should feel like teamwork, not competition or tug of war. Now, this green flag says a lot about character. Pay attention to how someone treats others, like waiters, customer service workers, strangers, family members, even animals, or simply people they know, because kindness is the most genuine when there's nothing to gain. But healthy people will say, character shows up in small moments. Now notice, do they speak respectfully, show empathy, handle frustration maturely, treat people with dignity? Those things matter long term. Attraction can get your attention, but character determines relationship quality. Let me say this again. Attraction can get your attention, but character determines relationship quality. And sometimes people ignore character because they're distracted by charm, looks, status, or just excited about being in a relationship. Listen closely. Character is what sustains relationships when life gets difficult. Now, here's another green flag that's overlooked, and that's patience. A healthy person understands that trust takes time. They don't force intimacy. They don't pressure commitment. They don't try to rush getting into your space. And this is important, and I'll tell you why. Because sometimes fast attachment feels romantic, but it can actually be emotional instability or infatuation. Real connection develops gradually. Healthy people allow relationships to unfold naturally. They want to actually get to know you, understand your values. They want to learn your communication style and build something stable. And truly, someone moving slowly can actually be a sign they're taking the relationship seriously. Some fast movers may not have the best intentions. Sometimes slow is safer. Now, another major green flag is emotional stability. Some people are so used to dramatic relationships that peace feels unfamiliar, like kind of strange. But constant fighting is not proof of passion. Drama is not a true factor of love. Healthy relationships still have disagreements for sure, but they don't thrive on chaos. You shouldn't constantly feel emotionally exhausted because a healthy partner communicates, resolves issue. A healthy partner avoids unnecessary games and protects the relationship instead of constantly damaging it. You know, there's enough stress in life already. You don't need to add to it. Your relationship should not become another source of emotional turmoil. Peace is underrated. And I say that. Peace is underrated. And sometimes the healthiest relationships are the quietest ones. So, as we end today's episode, I would like you to think about this. Have you ever ignored a green flag because it didn't feel exciting enough? Have you ever confused chaos with chemistry or inconsistency with passion? Because, believe it or not, a lot of people have been conditioned to associate love with emotional struggle. But healthy love often looks different than what past trauma or toxic dating or culture or old relationship patterns taught us. Sometimes healthy love looks like consistency, honesty, patience, accountability, emotional safety, calmness, and very important, respect. And yes, sometimes those things can feel unfamiliar at first, but unfamiliar doesn't mean wrong. A relationship does not need to emotionally drain you to be meaningful. And one of the most important parts of healing is learning how to recognize healthy love when it finally shows up. So if you listen to this entire episode, I hope it encourages you to stop focusing only on what to avoid and start paying attention to what's actually good for you too. Because green flags matter. And sometimes the quietest signs are the ones that deserve the most attention. Thank you so much for spending time with me today, and thank you for allowing me to be part of your journey. And if this episode resonated with you, please like, download, and also share it with someone who may benefit from this podcast. And you can find us at relationshipcoachinggroup.com, where you can email us if you have any questions or comments. And you'll see all the services we offer. So until next time, protect your peace, trust your growth, and don't ignore healthy love. And listen, just because it arrives on a rowboat and not a yacht doesn't mean it won't take you just as far, or that journey will be any less beautiful. So remember, you're not alone. Together, we got this.